I charged my brother the interest he charged our mother. My mom raised me and my brother Derek by herself after our dad left. She cleaned houses 6 days a week and never once made either of us feel like a burden. So when she called me last spring sounding embarrassed, I knew something was wrong. She needed $3,000 to fix the transmission on her car, the car she used to get to work. She didn't want to ask me because I've got 2 kids and a mortgage, so she'd already gone to Derek. Derek makes good money. He does something in medical sales, drives a truck that costs more than my house down payment. When mom asked him, he said sure, but then he had her sign a paper. I didn't find out about the paper until months later. Mom mentioned it offhand at Sunday dinner. She said, I paid Derek back another $200 this week, so I'm almost caught up. I said, caught up? It was $3 grand months ago. How are you not done? She got quiet and said there was interest. I said, interest? She said Derek told her it was only fair, that if she'd gone to a bank, they'd charge her too, so he set it at 15%. She'd been paying him back for 8 months and still owed almost $800. I asked to see the paper. She didn't want to show me, said she didn't want to start a fight between her boys. I told her I wasn't going to say anything to Derek. I just wanted to understand. That was a lie, but she showed me 15% annual compounding monthly late fees of $25 if a payment came after the first. He'd charged our mother a late fee twice. I didn't say anything to Derek that week. I paid off the remaining balance myself and told mom it was handled and she was never to give Derek another cent. She cried and said I didn't have to do that. I told her she never had to clean a stranger's toilet to keep the lights on either, but she did it for us, so this was nothing. Then I started reading. I looked up the interest, the compounding, the late fees, all of it. I built a spreadsheet. I went back 3 years because Derek had loaned mom money before. Once for her tooth, once when her hours got cut. Same deal every time. Same paper. She'd paid him back every dollar plus his interest, and she'd been too ashamed to tell anyone. Here's the part Derek forgot. 2 years ago, Derek came to me. His truck got repossessed for a stretch, and he needed cash fast to get it back before the auction. He asked me for $5,000. I gave it to him, no paper, no interest, because that's what family does. He paid me back over a year, whenever he had it, and I never once mentioned a number. So I made him a paper. I took the $5,000 I'd loaned him, and I ran it through his own formula. 15% annual compounding monthly, and I added the late fees for every month he'd paid me short. I used his exact terms because I had his exact terms. They were sitting in mom's kitchen drawer. By his math, Derek still owed me $1,100. I printed it and I brought it to his house on a Saturday. He opened the door with a beer in his hand and said, "What's up?" I handed him the paper. He read it and laughed. "You paid off years ago." I said, "Did I ever charge you interest?" He stopped laughing. I said, "You charged mom 15%. You charged her late fees. She scrubbed floors for 30 years and you made her pay you a late fee." He said that was different. That was a formal arrangement and mom agreed to it. I said, "Then this is a formal arrangement and you agreed to it the second you decided that's how our family does loans." He said I was being ridiculous, that he never actually meant to keep the interest, it was just to make her take it seriously. I asked him how much of mom's interest he'd given back. He didn't answer. I said, "You made almost $2,000 off a woman who buys her groceries with coupons. So pay me my $1,100 or explain to me why your rules only work in one direction." He said, "You're not seriously going to hold me to this." I said, "You held her to it for 3 years. You want me to tear this up? Tear up hers first. Pay mom back every cent of interest she gave you, all 3 loans, and I'll forget the number on this page." He got real quiet. Then he said mom would never have wanted this. I said mom didn't want to show me the paper either, and I told him exactly why she was afraid to. Derek paid mom back $1,900 into her account that Tuesday. He never paid me the $1,100 and I never expected him to. That paper wasn't a bill. Mom doesn't know why Derek suddenly refunded her. She keeps saying he must have had a change of heart. I let her believe it. He hasn't looked me in the eye at Sunday dinner since.